So I'm really struggling today to try. That is not at all in any way to imply that this is a similar to the meat's signature. And so let's answer the question. Is there a difference between the US Costco and the UK Costco? And my answer is hi guys, it's Mac and I'm back in the US, and right now I'm right outside of Costco because I want to answer the question that's on the top of everyone's mind. Is there a difference between Costco in the US and Costco in the UK? Let's go take a look and find out. Costco is a major U.S. corporation, has international locations in the U.S., Japan, Canada, all over the place, and definitely also in the U.K. And I go to the Costco in the U.K. all the time. But let's see if there's a difference between Costco in the U.S. and the U.K. Of course, some of the brands may be different, but what else may be different? So I have a U.S. Costco card. My U.S. Costco card works in the U.S. as well as in the U.K. The buggies or trolleys appear to be exactly the same. The ones here in the U.S. appear a little wider than the ones in the U.K., but that's a minor difference. Let's see what else we can find out. Coming into the U.S. Costco, all you have to do is show your card. But when you come into the U.K. Costco, you actually have to scan your card, but there's a little difference there. Not major, but let's see what else is different. So I can tell you immediately that the footprint of this US Costco is a little bit larger than the footprint for the UK Costco. Now, that's not to say that the UK Costco is small, and that's not also consistent across all Costcos. Some of them are larger, some of them are a little smaller, but the general setup appears to be the same here. You come into the store and you have your electronics, the same DJI Mini 3 bundle that I see in the UK, I see for sale here. So I'm not noting any differences there. Let's work our way on around the store and see if we can find anything different. Now, I haven't seen the Nintendo Switch for sale at the UK, but that could just be a minor change. I haven't been in the UK, so we're going to check it when we get over to the UK Costco to see if we see that difference there as well. The US Costco here has an eye doctor, and they also have a hearing aid center. We'll see if the hearing aid center is in the UK Costco. I don't think I've seen that before. That looks really unique. That's an additional capability that I don't think I've seen at the other location. This is different. Look at this. That is a hefty, hefty safe for $599, $600. That is a nice safe. And really heavy and sturdy. Now, I'm particular, I haven't seen much of this in the UK at all. KitchenAid, not the brand, but the fact of the water built into with water and ice, cubed ice and crushed ice. That's very common here in the US to have a refrigerator that has ice capability and water capability built into the refrigerator. Of course, you know, in the UK, this refrigerator, the space we have was probably be half this wide. You don't have that much space because the home design there in the UK is a lot different. Just the size of all of these appliances in general are just much larger than their UK counterparts, which we'll show you later in this video. Of course, here in the US, washers, look at the size of this washer. Massive drum there. This dryer will use a vent system to push out that moist air from the clothes. It will not be condensing. It's not a condensed dryer. We have a condensation dryer which condenses the water inside of the dryer, and then you had to dump it out of the dryer. Those are vented to outdoors and you won't have that problem. There's an LG refrigerator. Nice, because I think you could tap this, and when it's plugged up properly, that would light up and then you can look and see inside the refrigerator. Because you're too lazy to open it, if you don't want to do that, you can just tap glass or change this glass, and you can see without having to open a refrigerator, because opening that refrigerator, that's that extra step that you can avoid. Okay, let's move on through the store. I want to get bogged down here in the home appliances. Let's move along. In general, I'm thinking that it looks very similar in both locations. Moving on through the store, the furniture looks the same, although I think these sets are a little larger. In general, that's the first sense that I'm getting, that things here in the US, the furniture as well as the store size and the appliances, it's all running a little larger than the versions that I see inside of the UK Costco. Now that's a really cool place set. That's a big one. I'm surprised that they have this set up selling this out of the store. Wow, to transport that independently would be quite the undertaking, because this is a massive play set and it costs $1,100. $1,200, which is not bad. The price is good considering what all you get. I bought one of these one time for my kids and I spent $3,500 on it, and installation was another like $500-600. So if I cannot get this though installed, shipped and installed, this is going to be way too much for an individual. 3-story play set. That's a lot to take on by yourself if you're not going to have a lot of help to put that together. It's big and it's beautiful, but it's also really large. Here's the book section, which appears to be quite a bit smaller than the book section in the Costco's in the UK that I've been in. But we'll take another look when we get to the UK to see if that's a true statement. Now, I do love the fact that you could get some really cool Lego sets at Costco. Here's the yellow delivery truck for $75. It's a beautiful Lego set. They sell Lego sets at Costco in the UK, I know that. What other sets do they have here? Here they have the Lego truck for $75, and they have the tiny plants for $37, $36.99. So these are the 2 Lego sets that they have in the US right now. These are the prices. I think it's pretty good. We'll compare that when we get to the UK. Now, this is a really large tent here in this Costco, and I've seen a large tent in the Costco in the UK before as well. So I'm not going to call that a difference, although I'm noting some of the differences in size. But everything else is looking very consistent. It looks like Costco really did just pick up a US store and transport it outside of the US. Wow, the bakers are even cooking the exact same thing. Here are the croissants, blueberry muffins, and the other muffins as well, other flavors, very consistent to what I've seen in other Costco's outside of the US. Let's take a quick look here inside of the fresh produce area. Some of the produce, of course, will be different. You're at different countries, different seasons. Wow, it's cold in here. It is really cold in here. The temperature change is significant. But the produce looks predominantly the same. Asparagus, green beans, romaine lettuce. All right, I think I see the temperature here on the wall. Let's check what this temperature is. This is in Fahrenheit. It is 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and in Celsius, it is about 5 degrees Celsius. I'll see if I can check those temperatures when we get to the UK. But it is cold in here. I'm getting out of here. A good look at the bakers. Now, I can't see the bakers as easily when I've been in the UK at a Costco. They're behind a wall, but there's no wall here. You could just kind of look back there and see what the bakers are doing. Here's a sheet cake for $18.99. It's a plain cake, happy birthday, for $15.99. I'm actually surprised at how consistent the items are in the locations. I've been in the UK Costco, I'm in the US one right now, but I'm surprised at how consistent the products that they're selling are. Because here are the croissants. They're $5.99, $5.99. Muffins, which you can mix and match, 12. Any 2 flavors for $9.99, $9.99. Blueberry muffins. And here is a corn muffin. 88% lean ground beef, $3.99 a pound. I think that's a good price. A lot of good looking ground beef right there. Organic ground beef for $19.89. But look at some of these prices and see how they compare as well. Here's a fish, fresh steelhead, which looks like salmon, but that's not salmon, that's a steelhead fish fillet. Wild haddock for $1.99 a pound. Salmon here, boneless, skinless. It's a great price on that. So the fish looks good, plenty of options. Sockeye salmon, a lot of variety. And what may surprise some UK viewers, we have the leg of lamb roast, boneless Australian, which is $4.99 a pound, which is great. Lamb loin chop and lamb rib roast rack for $12.99 a pound, which is great there as well. And that was one of the things I wanted to see, if there would be as much lamb available here in the US, because I know the lamb selection is pretty deep in the UK. Let's see if it is consistent. So the lamb section does appear to be a bit smaller. Also, I have never seen what this appears to be brisket, beef brisket, in the UK of this size. And look at this. It's 23 pounds beef brisket at $3.89 a pound. Is $89, right at $90. But that is a massive slab of beef brisket. Here's some baby back ribs, $5.22 a pound. And here I think these are some beef short ribs, beef back rib slices. That looks good as well. All right, we have pork chops, multiple types of pork chops, pork loin, top loin, and pork loin rib. We also have here pork roast, boneless pork shoulder. I love pork shoulders, those are great for smoking. And we have here pork belly, look at that. 12-pound pork belly. Here's another pork belly here, 10-pound pork belly for $42, the other one's for $51. And here's sliced pork belly. And these are some big chunks of pork belly. That's a lot of meat right there. I can already tell you that the rotisserie chickens are the same. That even appears to be the same cooker. That's a hearted cooker. We'll take a good look when we get to the UK, see which type of cooker they have there. But I'm thinking you're gonna see a very consistency with the cookers. Some of the prepared foods appear to be the same, very consistent. Some sandwiches, platters. Here's really nice, look at that, nice shrimp platter. Okay, so we've worked our way across half the store at this point, kind of leaving the fresh produce, leaving the fresh meats, moving around now to the bottled water. And this is a massive haul of bottled water. Deer Park, alkaline water, it's Kirkland's. This is Kirkland's water, but that's a lot of water. Here's some watermelons. Good season for that. And charcoal. It's a big selection of charcoal. And here's more varieties of bottled water. Leading us around into the tissues and things of that sort. Kirkland brand tissue. Of course, you expect to see that here. Scott tissue, Bounty, paper towels, and more Kirkland paper towels. Now, I would like to make note, I have twins. And since I have twins, I can tell you, as I was just saying, I have twins. And since I have twins, I can tell you that this is a pretty hefty selection of diapers and wipes. Starting right there, Kirkland brands, Huggies, more diapers, more diapers, more diapers. And the boxes are really large. We're talking 174 in that. In here, 222. This is Kirkland brand diapers, 174 for $35. Huggies, 174 for $45. You know, they put that 99, make it look a little cheaper. 14, 44.99, 32.99. Just go ahead and round it up 1 penny. Here you have pull-ups, 4T, 5T, 100 count for $33. Pull-ups here, the adult diapers, depends. Okay, so we're starting now working our way down the last side of this Costco, and I can go to one thing that I'm almost certain you won't be able to find in the UK, but is absolutely present here in the US, and that is going to be the plastic silverware. This is heavyweight knives from Solo, Kirkland's red cups, heavyweight forks. That's 500 in that box, 500 in that box for $12.99, $13. Heavyweight spoons, 500 for $13. Here's Kirkland's signature crystal clear cutlery, 360 count. It's a blend of fork, knives, and spoons. 180 forks, 120 spoons, 60 knives, all plastic. You won't find this in the UK. Reflective silverware, plastic cutlery, $10.59, 160 pieces. You won't find that in the UK. And so far, I don't see any of the wooden alternatives, which I think you will see a great many wooden alternatives when we get to the UK Costco. Crystal clear dinner plate. So just a lot of plastic paper plates here on this aisle. Let's continue through the store. Now, of course, I'm not gonna walk down every single aisle here in this Costco. This store is massive, and that would take too long, and no one is really interested in that much detail. But what I'm looking for is things that really jump out to me that would be different here in the US, vice the UK. Some things I see are similar, and some things are just under different name brands, and that makes sense. But things that are really different, that's what we're looking for. So here you're moving into the beverages, and I don't see tremendous differences. Of course, you're going to have things like Dr. Pepper and Diet Dr. Pepper and Pepsi and Sprite and Fanta. Those are consistent, I believe, across the US and the UK. Soda drinks are pretty consistent. In general, I'm just noting, as I've noted before, look at the size of this one package of pretzel chips. Like, this is literally 1 pound and 12 ounces. That is really heavy. That's a lot. Just the size of these chips is really grabbing my attention, even when you're talking about the Ruffles cheddar and sour cream. For this is also going to be 1 pound and 11 ounces for $7.88. So you have chips here, massive bags of different types of chips. Now, one thing I would like to note is look at the gap space on this aisle from one side to the other. Look at this space. I mean, this is easily, we're talking, I'm not good for talking in meters, but this is easily 6-7 meters across, a good 20 plus feet, easily in between these aisles. Here is a premium wild bird feed 40-pound bag for basically $20. That's a big bag. I have seen these Kirkland absorbent pads in the UK Kirkland, so I know that that is consistent. What keeps drawing my attention over and over again is the scale and size. Look at these freezer units. They're absolutely massive. And I think that may be one of the largest differences between Costco in the US and the UK. Besides some of the differences in products, we're going to talk about the differences in size. Because across the board, everything here just appears to be a bit bigger. And here are the options for dog food. These are 35-pound bags, 35-pound bags, 40-pound bags. There's another 40-pound bag. This is some pretty large, another 40-pound bag. But there's a lot of good options for dog food if you want to have the option. I'm not sure. We'll see if that's consistent for the UK with the amount of options that's available. And here is the cereal aisle. Now, I've seen some pretty big boxes of cereal in the UK before, but this is 46 ounces of General Mills Lucky Charms for $7.99, $8. Fruit Loops, 54 ounces for basically $10. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, two 24-ounce boxes for $8. And you can get a general idea of the size of the boxes and the amount of cereal that's available in each. 61 ounces of Frosted Flakes for $8.79. Sensitives, 40 ounces of powder for $55. Again, 40 ounces here, $55. This is actually, it's 2.5 pounds, 40 ounces net weight, 2.5 pounds, or 1.13 kilograms of Similac for $55. Enfamil, which is running right at $60. How much is in here though? This is 2 containers, 567 grams. 2 of those are 1.13 kilograms. It's 2 of those, so 2.26 kilograms for $60 of Enfamil. We'll check those prices. The US has a full pharmacy here with patient counseling, prescription pickup, and of course drop-offs. Right ahead of me here is the honey, raw honey, and here's a really large one, Kirkland's Wildflower Honey. I don't see the price on this. No, I don't see the price, but oh wow, that is heavy. This is 5 pounds or 2.27 kilograms of honey. I don't see a price on it, but that is a lot of honey. So I'm taking a quick look through the clothes section here, and we're going to validate this when we go through the UK Costco. But I really feel that the UK Costco has more designer labeled clothes than I see here. I don't see, that's just men, denim jeans, Izod, here's Champion, Kirkland signature shirts, Kirkland signature men. Here's a little bit of Puma. Okay, so Puma activewear, Snyder, Orvis, and here's some Adidas graphic tees. Okay, it's nice, Adidas graphic tees. So there are some designer here. Let's make sure and check when we're in the UK to see if there are any significant differences in what is available. But I just feel like there's still a few more designer lines in the UK for the clothing. So here is a shoe selection of, right now it's loafers this time of year, a lot of sandals and loafers, but there are shoes here. Let's see if we find a comparable for shoes in the UK. So we have a self-checkout section here, which is very similar. It looks like a normal self-checkout, but I don't think I've ever seen this in the UK Costco. So I'm here at the end of the checkout, and then you could buy food here. Now I think that this is one area where the UK is definitely ahead of the US, because I can't do this in a digital format. I have to stand in line, order, and then my food will come out. But I think the UK is definitely ahead with being able to automate the self-checkout for food. I don't really see it available here, unless this is it right here. Okay, so there is an option right here. They have 4, I believe, self-checkouts. All right, here we go. They do have it here. There's 4 self-checkout stalls where you can check out your items that you want to pick up from the Costco food court. This is the food court kiosk. They have that. We'll see if the last section to leave is the same, which is after you make a purchase at Costco, they have to check your ticket to see if your ticket matches with what's on your buggy. It looks like that is going to be consistent as well. I heard they were going away from that as a company, but it has not happened yet. Okay, so to start with, that's Costco in the US. It seems just like Costco in the UK, but I think there are some differences that we will be able to identify. I had a great experience. It was a good shopping experience there. I've never had a bad shopping experience at Costco, but let's hop over to the UK and see what Costco is like over there. Okay, so here we are at the Costco in the UK. We're about to go in and we're gonna walk through this Costco and take a good look at it and see how it compares to the US version. As I mentioned back in the US that you have to scan your Costco cards here in the UK. However, I have a US Costco card and I don't scan it, I just show it. But all of the, you have to scan that. Yeah, thank you. So that you don't scan the US card here in the UK. Same system, but there are little differences. They know that we are good Costco valuable members, but we don't have to scan our cards. Okay, coming in, you have all of these same similar electronics here. You have your appliances over there. So it's a lot of similarities in this section. Wow, that is a really large television. I can't remember exactly if they had one this big up in the US. Washers, dryers, here at this optical center for the glasses. But a lot of really beautiful televisions. We actually bought our TV out of here. And I feel like the TV selection here is a bit better than the television selection in the US. We've also bought a washer and a dryer out of here. So this is where we get a lot of things. This is our local Costco that we like to come to. But yeah, those TVs look really good. There's a lot of them as well, different price points. Small jewelry section here. Very similar, comparable to the US. Let's work our way on down through the store. And I love to see the people who have these different items out. Costco's known for doing that. That went away during COVID, but it's back now. So it has a really large clothing section here, and it has some good clothes. Now, I mentioned it had the shoes in the US. Here are the shoes here in the UK as well, and I was thinking that they didn't have as many. I think the shoes are a little better, I feel. So DKNY, Puma, still high quality. Some DeWalt work boots, more Puma. So yeah, really good shoes. I feel like the designer clothes are a little better because you can pick up some really great clothes here. Different brands. A lot of Puma. Reebok. But yeah, some really good brands, a lot of clothes. DKNY again, very similar brands here. There's a couple, I don't see Jack Wills. Normally I see a Jack Wills, which is a British brand. I don't see that here today, but still a lot of great options for clothes. So when you consider the size of the store, this is a really nice size Costco. I've been into a couple other ones here in the UK and the sizes is pretty comparable to this. However, I can see from standing here in roughly the center of the store that this is about 1/3 smaller than the US version. The US Costco store I went to was larger, but I noted that back in the US that the US version was larger. Pretty broad battery selection. Chargers, electronics, batteries, wires, security cables, security cameras. So these items all appear very similar to the items in the US, even down to the exact same brands, Command, Post-it, very similar. Here are a couple high-power generators, high-capacity generators. This one's really nice. I can tell you, I've lived in the UK for 4 years and have never, not even once, lost power. That is something I should probably comment on later on in a different video, that the electric grid is much more stable than the electric grid that I'm familiar with back in the US. But I'm struggling right now to see differences between the US and the UK. Everything at this point appears to be, aside from the size of the store, everything is very, very comparable. The US Costco had a lot of great Lego sets, and I see some really cool Lego sets here. It appears to be more Lego sets here in the UK than I see in the US. There's a Harry Potter set. Harry Potter, of course, originated out of the UK, but some nice toys and different things like that set up here. It appears to be a bit more garden furniture and outside lawn furniture, yard furniture. Appears to be a bit more of that here. There's a lazy boy over there, reclining chairs, two-seater. I don't remember seeing quite as much of that back in the US. Still in the summer, I feel like it's a little early, but I already have Christmas wrappings out. I feel like it's definitely a little early in the year for that, but I guess this is the seasonal section. I didn't see this in the US, but it has been a slight difference in time between when I was in the US and here, heading into the fall. You see they're getting it set up for the fall items as well. I was hoping to see the tents, and I don't see any tents. Those must have already been pulled and stacked away until next year. So talking about the similarities between the US and the UK Costco, Costco really did just pick up the model from the US and bring it straight to the UK, because these look like the exact same cookies that I saw in the US. Of course, these are also the same muffins. There's no visual difference. I wonder if there'd be a taste difference. I can't buy all these sweets to test them out, but guys, they look exactly the same. I'm not seeing any difference here. Here are the same croissants. So they just really lifted and shifted. I don't see a lot of difference at all, but I think I can find a difference when we get to the meats over here. But as far as the pastries are concerned, I would say one for one, pretty much the exact same pastries. Now here's the lemon drizzle cake. I'm not sure if I saw the lemon drizzle cake in the US. That may be one that's different. But now we're walking through and we're looking at the meats, and here is where I can tell you there's going to be a difference. So when we're talking about differences, here's one. The British lamb, these lamb steaks here, boneless steaks, you definitely can't get this same quality or the amount in the US as you could get here in the UK. There's a lot more lamb for sale than what you find in the US. Here's some halal Australian boneless lamb chops. And then of course moving down into the pork, you have different cuts on the pork. Here's some bacon ribs. There's some Kirkland brand ribs. These are British pork loin ribs, British pork tenderloin. So the meat cuts are different. You're getting definitely some different cuts. U.S. pork, boneless pork loin. So there's some differences and some similarities. As you move over to the meats, signature fresh salmon, and you have some cod here, a couple other meats. You have a lot of the shrimp and prawns for sale, also very similar. Of course, you're in a different part of the world, so you would expect some of these fish to be different, and they are in some cases different. This is a brim, and I don't remember seeing this particular fish in the US. Here's a red brim, and I definitely don't remember seeing that. And here's fresh mackerel. So when you get to the fish and the meats, there appears to be some differences there, but that's just regionally based. Here, the butchers are all behind glass, but you can see them back there cutting up the meats. And still, I'm in this store on a Saturday, so it's packed in here. The butchers are all working, and the meat's flying off the shelves. This is going to be another difference. Here is some pork sausage. You're going to have a lot more sausages, I think, here in the UK than what you have in the US. You have the same rotisserie chickens. There's the cookers back there. So this is the same. Get that nice rotisserie chicken. Good price, $4.99. 4 pounds for a whole rotisserie chicken. Nice selection of wings here. Again, behind glass for the people making the salads. And we're moving on now to the fresh produce. Of course, there are going to be some differences in the produce and to what they have, but for the most part, it looks pretty consistent. Now we're into the cold room. Got some nice asparagus here. And it is cold. I was hoping I'd be able to see a temperature gauge, but I don't see the temperature, but I do see my breath in front of me, so it is really cold in this room. So we're in the US, everything was Tide here. A lot of things are Ariel, but you have pretty much the same detergents here as you would have in the US. Same capability as far as the products. I don't see a lot of differences in the product or in the sizes of the products. I actually feel as though these are better prices and sizes, because when you take this detergent here, this is right at $13.59, VAT included. But look how much you're getting in here. 130 loads. I just feel like that's more than what you're getting on the US side. These boxes look considerably larger than what you have in the US. This is 6.5 kilograms. I mean, that's a lot of detergent. And it's not just that brand. Surf, Ariel, they're all producing these massive boxes of detergent. Looking inside of the freezers, I see a lot of similarities there. Tropicana, again, a lot of US brands. So Costco came over with a lot of US brands, but this Cathedral City is more of a European cheese. I'll call it European. I'm not sure exactly if it's British, but definitely not American. There's some more cheeses that would fall under the European moniker. So here are the toys and a pretty good alcohol selection here with the wines. And I didn't take a good enough look at this on the US side, but you have 2 aisles here for all your alcoholic beverages. I think it's a good selection and probably some really good prices as well. Now we're here looking at some teas, and I think that this is going to be another area. I don't think the US is going to have anywhere near the amount of coffee and teas that you're going to find here. Yorkshire tea, definitely didn't see that in the US. There's PG tea, more tea, Earl Grey. So the tea selection is definitely larger here. But of course, you're in the UK, that's exactly what you would expect.
Like, I almost picked up this thing of
So looking at the cereal, here's some Kellogg's Corn Flakes, 2 big 1 kilogram boxes of those, and there's some Frosties. Those look pretty similar. Again, I think the boxes here, I just feel like they're a little bigger than the boxes of cereal that you get in the US for that same price. Looking at the Hellmann's, here's the mayo, and here's some really large containers of olive oil. But this is the exact same olive oil I saw in the US. I think pretty much the same sizes container. So I'm really struggling today to try to find a difference in the US and the UK Costco. The differences are so minor. There's just a few brands that are different, but I'm surprised at how many US brands that I'm seeing. The US company, I'm not too surprised, but they really just lifted and shifted everything from the US and plopped it here in the middle of the UK. Taking another look at the furniture, I still feel like there's maybe a little bit more furniture for sale here in the UK by what you'd get in the US. There's Thomasville though, so that's still a US brand I believe they brought over. Taking another look at the clothes, again, Adidas here, there's a lot more nice branded items I believe here. I don't think you could get this Adidas, not to this quality, the same in the US. Good pricing, great brands. I just feel like the brands for the clothes are a little better here in the UK. Now here's something really cool. I like this. These are Crocs, and these are the good Crocs as well. Like these are not, I have a pair almost exactly like this. So there's some really nice Crocs. They're smaller. Again, the US is just importing its brands here into the UK. As I take a closer look, that's the main thing that I'm seeing. Here's a nice selection of watermelons. This is the size watermelon that you get. I call this refrigerator size. You can buy this, take it home, stick it in the fridge if you don't need all at once. Those large ones just don't work really well. But directly behind me here is Gillette and Colgate. Colgate, Gillette, Oral-B. Again, this is really coming across like you're just shopping in the US. Now that I think about it, that's what it feels like. Okay, I want to take a look at this because here we have water wipes and Huggies. I want to see what the baby wipe section and the diaper section look like. There's a small selection of that. Here's the formula, baby formula. Different names, pretty much the same thing though, different brands. And here's the selection of, again, more wipes, Huggies, Pampers, Baby Dry. And I think this is it. And here's an area where I feel as though the US has more options. We'll just kind of stop here, take a look. But you have the pull-ups here, nighttime, Pampers pants, Pampers pants. And this is a good selection. I don't know if you would need much more than this, but I feel like the US still has more options and a larger selection of the baby diapers. The rest of the pharmaceutical section here appears very consistent. I will note though, this Costco does not actually have a pharmacy connected to it, so there's no pharmacy. That's where you go and pick up your prescription drugs. They don't appear to have that. But as far as the other items, the self-care items, soaps, it all appears very consistent with what's available in the US. Taking a look at the computers, what we have available here, there appears to be a great selection. And Apple as well is here. Apple has two tables, and here are the Apple computers. And right in front of me is the Apple pads, which are also for sale here. You can build your own computers. They have some of those setups, as well as Starlink, which is another US company, is for sale here. It's a really good price to get started with Starlink, which is great. I have Starlink at home myself. The checkout appears very consistent, as well as the eating section. You're ordering right there, and I'll get a closer look, but you can order on this side and you pick up your food there. So that kitchen appears very similar to the US. I don't think there's much difference in the modeling of how that is designed. Here's Kirkland's Gelato. So yeah, there's where you order, and they have this in the US. I didn't see it at first, but they have it in the US. Very same setup. And then as we exit the store, the membership section where you buy your memberships to Costco, not a bad price. And then there's the tire sales. And I think that's also consistent with what was available at the US Costco. And then, of course, as you exit, you have to go through these checkers who check everything, the buggy, and that's how you get out of here. Okay, so we've gone through a US Costco, now we've gone through a UK Costco. Is there a significant difference between the two stores? And I would say, no, not really. It appears to be pretty much the exact same store. If anything, Costco is a Trojan horse importing US products and goods into the UK. That's just my quick opinion. I love it because it allows me to go and buy US products here and don't have to worry about it. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Drop that down in the comments and let me know. If you see some differences that I didn't comment on, that I didn't note, just drop that in the comments and let me know. And let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to compare. Hey guys, if you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe, follow along. And until next time, take care.